Well, welcome to Monday Night Men's Talk. Thank you for joining us, and we are just spending time together and encouraging one another. We have Neil, we have Kevin, and we have Shane.
So I got an opportunity at work, one that I'm not really sure if it's a good or a bad one, but in California, because of COVID, they made it a statute that technicians are now able to get certified to be able to immunize. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's a huge step up for a role. As a store manager, all of us have to be licensed as technicians to be able to run and control our stores from both the pharmacy and the front end aspect. But tell me about a time where you really had to sit and struggle with an opportunity that came up, whether you didn't know it was good or not, and how did you know whether or not to take that opportunity?
Well, for me, I took a position and in a certain role, and that program ran out of funding, and then I got basically brought back into centralized IT and got an opportunity to do database administration, which I'd never done before. I got to learn new things. God works in mysterious ways. Like I would have never, applied for this position, but it became an opportunity. Then COVID came, and people requested me, and now I'm doing web development for COVID, for temporary service. So there's always something new to learn. I don't know how God works, but I just trust in Him and say, you brought this to me. I'm going to do what I can to serve other people, and I know that you got my back, even though I have no idea really what I'm doing. I'm going to step up to the plate, and sometimes these things that may be kind of scary end up being amazing. You end up doing something that you would have never chosen yourself, but are glad that you had the opportunity to do. And just pray and ask God what He wants, and just go with it. I'm sure you won't be disappointed.
It's amazing because we were talking earlier about my situation. I needed a job. I got a job. It was a temporary job. The pay was decent, even had benefits. I wasn't even aware. Since then, my 5-month contract has expanded to the end of the year, which is fantastic. Well, I had been praying for an opportunity, and now all of a sudden, I just get word that my contract was extended, and now I get a call from another position that I was hoping for. So at first I told myself it's not about the money. It is not about the money, and it is not, because I like to weigh everything, the benefits, travel, money, whatever it takes. And I have since got peace and realized that if I get the other job, it will be, I believe, the right job. And it has nothing to do with the money, but it's going to be an uncertainty because I'm going to start over again from the bottom, from the beginning, possibly on call, where now I have a full-time position that's guaranteed to December. So I've prayed, and I believe that God has spoken to me, and I have the peace to make what I believe is the right decision. And so that's how it's affected me.
As I watched a bumblebee land lightly on the Russian sage, I marveled at the brush's lush branches exploding with color. Its brilliant blue blossoms attracted eyes and bees alike. Yet only last fall I'd wonder if it would ever blossom again. When my wife's parents trimmed the periwinkle plant down to a stub, I'd assumed they'd decided to get rid of it. But now I was witnessing the radiant result of pruning that had seemed brutal to me. The surprising beauty that results from harsh cuts may be one of the reasons Jesus chose pruning imagery to describe God's work among believers. In John 15, he says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every branch that does not bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. Jesus' words remind us that in the good times and bad, God is always working in us towards spiritual renewal and fruitfulness. During pruning seasons of suffering or emotional bareness, we may wonder if we'll ever thrive again. But Christ encourages us to continue to stick close to Him. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. As we continually draw spiritual nourishment from Jesus, the resulting beauty and fruitfulness in our lives will show the world God's goodness. How have you seen God use struggle in your life to produce growth and fruitfulness?
Funny you say that, because my wife and I just discovered Russian sage on Elkhorn, and we planted some. It's horrible looking right now. But when we planted it, it was blue and whatnot, and I understand that it's going to come back. For me, it's been an employment issue. I have been trying to get a job, and God has got me to praying more. He's got me to give more, allow more peace into my heart right now, and things are just taking off. And I know that I couldn't do it alone. It's just impossible. But with God, they say all things are possible. The pruning for me, the praying, the patience, because when you're talking about employment or money, to pay bills or whatever, it can be stressful. And for me, the praying and all, I've calmed down, and things are just working greatly for me.
Me and Jenny now have been together for almost 16 years. And in the beginning of our relationship, like, everything seemed just great. But once we had the first kid is when we really hit struggles in life. And I know that happened. I hear that happens a lot. But it was a struggle for us. Like, our marriage, our relationship, sometimes we didn't even like each other. And really pushing through that and bearing through the struggle made our relationship more fruitful. It helped us grow and learn to communicate. And there was a lot of cold nights where we ended up, just having to bear through the struggle to get to a better place.
I have two questions. Number one, this question is to the men of the church. Men, take an interest in the men's talk. I'm fairly new, as you know, and I was invited here, and I really enjoy being here. These guys are wonderful. But I would like to see, as well as Pastor and the two guys here, we'd like to see more participation from the men. So guys, if you're interested, please, not if you're interested, get interested and come join us. It's a wonderful thing. And the second thing is game night on Fridays. My wife and I love the game night. And for those of you that may not even know that it's going on, there is a game night that Pastor Avellino does every Friday, and it's fantastic. It'll give you a chance to do family time, answer some Bible questions, and just have a good time. So why aren't we doing it? That is my question.
And what time is that on Friday night?
Well, I usually do it. He tapes it, so I usually do it between 7 and 8 because I get home from work.
Okay.
5 o'clock. He does it at 5 o'clock. So
okay.
5 o'clock. But it is taped for those who can't do it at 5, and you can do it later. And it's fun. Trust me, guys. Pastor and I have a competition with Pastor. My wife and I compete against each other, and we both compete against Pastor. It's just fun. So please come on, join it.
Thank you all for joining us. This is Monday Night Men's Talk, where we believe as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens one another. And as men, we say,
God loves you, and so do we.